Hi everyone, my name is Anne-Marie Band. Today is Monday, October the 21st, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. As you can see, I am doing the charts from Thinkorswim today as TrendSpider seems to be a little bit wonky. So a lot of us do have Thinkorswim, and if you're looking for value area formations for 3 days of motion, what you'd want to do is go to your time frames and choose 3 days, 1 hour, and it would build the volume profile that's been building for the last 3 days. And you can see in the ES that we are really compact. We had some accumulation here, and traders got above this 4 a.m. candlestick formation, which I have a little bit wrong, and so that's going to make me crazy. That 4 a.m. event is right there. They broke below it and then recaptured it, held the floor. These are two hull moving averages. One is a 14, the other one is a 50. Easy thing in Thinkorswim is to have them both tell you when it's up and down, and when they're both the same color, most of the time, both the same color and the same direction, you know you're going to have yourself a trade that's giving you pressure in the direction of your motion. All right, so what are we looking at this morning? We're looking at the test of the value area low, and traders are coming in to buy it. We'll also notice that that is, what is wrong with me today? I took all of these 5 p.m. candlesticks and made them the 6 p.m. candlesticks. Well, that's even better because it does exactly what we want it to do. See, here it is from several days ago. That's the opening range candle that we watched, 6 p.m. It came right into it, collided with the value area low, also heavy congestion, now beginning to bounce. Now, what's the problem with a formation like this is that it's still got lots of negative trend on it. So the first groups are going to add to their short here, just so long as they don't break the 4 hour. I don't know what happened in Europe this morning, but all of the candlesticks are down like this at the 4 a.m. opening hour. Not sure what went on, but something obviously did. And so that's really what we're staring down right now. The bounce into that area should give us another fade. So here's what we want to start looking for. We want to start looking for our hull to turn like this and for the candlesticks to stop heading lower. At this juncture, it is the bounces that are going to give you sell zones, okay? Until it holds a bottom and frames it out. What I want to take a peek at is how did we manage the week and what are we staring down? We've got a lot of drawings on there, but what we can see is that we are inside of the high of last week and inside of the low of last week. And so we could have a sideways week. Fed speakers are auditioning for their next appointments, wherever those might be. And so it could be a little bit noisy, but look for the 50% range of last week's candlestick formation to give you a little bit of a floorboard where you might think to yourself, you know what, I could probably go long here. And that's about 58.80, 58.75. Right? That's what we're going to stare down. Let's go. And for the top end, my thought is if we get up over 59.13, it's going to make the short sellers buy to cover, and that should send us into the prior highs. Hard to say, though, but as you can see, both of these are green, and so that means pullbacks are going to be buy zones. All right, let's go to the NQ. We'll look at the weekly first. All right, and what we see is something akin to a topping formation, right? A little bit weird. We had a bit of a doji candle, and now we are beneath the open of the close of the prior week. If we open the day like that, traders could get a little nervous and come down into the base of this candlestick here. 20,200 would be a lovely dip that would create buying formations based on the bigger whole moving average, right? Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks at 20,200. Yeah, that's a great place for buyers to try to come in. I would watch for that if indeed that does happen. All right. So now what we're looking for is to see if the traders can get themselves back up over 20,400 from a weekly perspective. Otherwise, the low of the day, 20,342, and then a step down into the area that we see as the next big buying zone. But this looks like the traders want to take a breath, right? Look at how many weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks of upside pressure. It's been a minute since we've seen that. Let's collapse right down into the 1 hour. That's very important. Take a look at this. These are our ranges. I colored them in. And holy smokes, is that not the picture of congestion? Have a look. This comes into the very important London Open candlestick formation. Prior support, value area low, traders trying to buy it. Okay? Now, my thought, if I'm looking at something like this, I'm going to be looking for an area to short, but I'm not going to be jumping right in, right? I could say, well, this candlestick here is the opening candlestick, right? A 6 p.m. candlestick Eastern time. And then up here is that 4 a.m. candlestick. So it could go all the way here, and the dashed line is our VWAP. So when the NQ begins to bounce, notice it can be fairly savage, right? It can be absolutely savage. So you don't want to jump in until you can see something like, oh, I don't know, something on a 5-minute chart that tells you, all right, I can buy there, right? And this is still, this has just turned green. So the fade action into the baseline is the better buy than taking the long right here into old support that became resistance, right? So you could take a short there, pull it down into this area, and have yourself another long event. All right? So there we have it. All right, let's take a look at the YM. Again, I've drawn I don't know why that's not disappearing. I've drawn the formations for the width of the value area for the last 3 days. That's what it's printing for me. And so what do we want to see? Okay, what we can see is 1, 2, 3 days sitting in a zone. And this area right here is sort of the midline. It's a 61.8 fib retracement of the value area, and they came in to buy it. Now notice, this is not a 4 a.m. candlestick formation. It's nothing like that. It's just sitting at the old area of support. Interestingly, it's where the hull is with all the others, but it broke this so hard and then turned right around and ran back up. And what does this give us? We've got these higher lows in play, but a very messy patch. Here comes the 4 a.m. candlestick formation. Here's the point of control, sitting at 43,500, and that is also where the VWAP is. Okay, so the ideal buy of inflection is past us. So what do we need to do? We need to wait for the price action to exhaust into these areas, right? Either the 4 a.m. or this zone right here, which was the 6 p.m. open of Friday. Here is the opening range of last night, and now, that big 4 a.m. candlestick formation. Do you want to put midnight on there? You could, but it's just sitting in heavy congestion. It's not really going to be, you might want to put 525 there if you're staring it down, right? But ideally, we're seeing bounces off of these bigger time frames, and trend is pretty positive, right? Do I think these charts are tired? Potentially, but the charts really don't care what I think. And if we take a look at what's been happening during the week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 of the last 6 weeks have been up, and then 7, 8, 9, 10. 8 of the last 10 weeks have been up. And so that is very bullish. Pullbacks are going to be buy zones. key zone way down there at 42,604, right? The markets are incredibly bullish, and literally all we're doing is moving from one area of accumulation, distributing up top, and then giving off, a little bit more. So the key things to notice are this little action moving higher. Could you short up here at the high? Absolutely. But by the time it gets 10 ticks above you, be done with it. Be done with it, because it's going to be turning in the other direction. There are a lot of people that want to short, and there are a lot of people buying it off the floor. Okay? So that's it for that. Let's take a peek at oil. A lot of the oil formations are going back and forth. And listen, this is really the key thing. There's nothing going on here. They're buying the bottom and selling the top. There's going to be no breakaway that I can see here, statistically, in oil. And there's not going to be a breakdown, because there are enough geopolitical tensions to keep this a little bit on the upside. And so the key event is stare down when it gets to 77, put on your thinking cap and go, all right, let's see if we can get ourselves a short, right? And if it heads back, per happenstance, if it heads back to 65, light and tight, just say to yourself, hey, if this comes down to 65 and starts bouncing, Bob's your uncle, right? Right now, it is a very nasty sideways patch of noise. Tremendous. And look at how long. Literally since 2021, right? We had this thing up here, and then all of a sudden, way back down in the edge. Okay? They are manipulating price action here, and all these dips are buy zones, and all these bounces are sell zones. Some of the bounces can get high. Listen, if it gets into 78.30, and you take a short, and it moves to 78.40, you could trim your size in half, and then by the time it gets to 78.50, get out, because it's going to be moving to 80. It's just going to do that. So some very nice sweet spots to trade there in oil, in my mind. Let's take a look at gold. Lastly, gold futures going off the rails, and just massive motion, just absolutely massive. Now, you guys know that I believe it is because central banks are buying up gold, which is a very big warning sign in terms of what's going on with the actual currencies. But neither here nor there. Here we have it, very big upside. Any pullbacks into prior support have been fantastic buy zones. And this, I believe, will continue. Okay? And so if we're staring it down from this low volume node here, the moment that we lose 25.80, we've got ourselves a little rotation. But if you're trading intraday, dip buying has been absolutely fantastic. Look at the trend. The trend's been massive. It's been absolutely massive. So draw yourself a trend line. Gold has been incredible, and it's going to continue to be that way in my mind. All right, that's it for me, folks. I'll see you at the midday Moneyball report for the Benzinga Pro platform. Take care.